Hey guys, what you get to see here is the Nessy modified skinning the hard maple branch. It's trying to get underneath the bark. That's going to really assist in skinning animals to get up underneath and lift it and split it. That's what the Nessy hump does. It works very well. And here I'm just playing around with the Scandi part of the knife. One thing nice about the modified Scandi, or the modified Nessy I would say, is it gives me 3 blade options. Right here I'm doing power cuts with a real small knife. Uh, you can hog off wood with the Scandi part of this knife. And when you see, you know, when you get in your camp chores like your dingle sticks and etc. like that, the knife itself, it's smaller. It makes it a little bit more controllable, on a small knife. If we're doing small chores, detail work, here I'm cutting a 7 notch, I believe. And the more I test these knives, the more I get to play with, designs and function and stuff and see how they handle. And this thing's really handled like a dream. Like I said before, it gives 3 different grinds on this knife. So I have a real good slicer, but I have my camp chore knife. And you can see here the differences involved. The top one's going to be the production knife. The bottom one was, a prototype. And you'll see the modified grinding on the top one. Hey guys, what we want to talk about today is the Nessy prototype. What you have here on the top is the regular Nessy, and what you have down here at the bottom is a Nessy prototype with a multiple grind knife. When we came up with this idea here, I fell in love with this knife. Great pelt knife, great little skinning knife. It's an AEBL. It's got a full flat grind on it with this Nessy tip. Be great for going underneath the pelt and doing some skinning. But when I use this knife, doing some camp chores, I was making some beaver hoops out of it. I noticed that due to the fact that I run a lot of WC knives and they have multiple grinds on them, I called William and said, hey, this is a great knife, but he's basically spoiled me on a multiple grind knife. What can we come up with on the Nessy? And so, as you know, we all went down to the blade show, and he got to thinking about it and knocked this one out. Now this is a water jetted production knife. This knife is a little bit larger, as you can tell, because this come out of basically it's a scrap knife, that they throw together just to see if it had any function, see how we liked it. And I received this down at the blade show. You can see the size comparison. This one's a lot thicker here, handle's a lot bigger. But remember, this is just a prototype. If this knife becomes what I think it should become, it'll be in this size right here. But what we have here is on the prototype is when I was doing my camp chores and stuff, making dingle sticks, pot hangers, beaver hoops, I noticed that I didn't have the Scandi. And we all know that Scandi cuts wood very good. Now Scandi in a full skinning knife all the way up to the tip is no good for me. I do not like a Scandi up in here. So William put the Scandi here and he modified it and then turns it into a full flat. So now when I got this knife back, I can do my camp chores in this area here, pot hangers. But because this Scandi gets modified into a blender saber, this thing is just a slicing monster right here. But it also let me for my full flat on the tip. And that's the key to this knife. When you get this knife here, you have one grind to work with. Nothing wrong with full flat, but we all know Scandis is a little bit more durable on the edge for doing wood processing. And so I have a one-bladed knife, same grind. Here, if we break it down, I have a Scandi and a modified Scandi or saber and a full flat tip. So now essentially I've got 3 knives. And this knife is really turning out to be a workhorse. I've said it in my past videos, I enjoy smaller knives. You have a little bit more control, when you're sitting around camp or doing small detail work or even skinning. Skinning is a small detailed chore. And this knife is giving me more options than this one. So when this knife comes out with this kind of grind, it's going to be on this. It's going to be the identical knife as here. It's identical size as this. Same steel, ABL, and you can see this one's a lot thicker here like that. So guys, it's just a little short intake breakdown of what the differences are of the knife and kind of explain where we're going with this. So we'll go from there. Thanks, guys.